In my accounting classes, and honestly, even with more complex businesses, I frequently get asked questions about job costing or project costing or property management inside of accounting. And I'll tell you, this more detailed organization of accounting and reports, not all accountants are experienced in this, and not all accountants do job costing, as we call it. And even further, a lot of accounting software does not default to proper tracking of this job costing or property or project costing management in the system. So it's not automatic. And really, it matters when you're doing project or property or job costing. You want those really good reports. So I say all this because the right system and the right understanding is really, really going to help you if you have this type of business. And the big question is, can you answer this question? Are you making money? Are you making money on that project or that property? Was it a house flip? Was it a construction project? The big question is, are you making money on that individual job or project? So that's exactly what we're going to walk through right here. Now, before we can get to actual reports, we've got to get quality in there, right? So we got to get all our stuff, all the data into our accounting system, and it's got to be recorded and organized properly. So before we can read a project profitability or job profitability report and really understand it, we've got to get down to some basics. So the chart of accounts, which every business is going to have in their accounting system, I like to call it our filing cabinet here. So this is like our digital accounting filing cabinet, where you put all those transactions in your books. Now, every business has a chart of accounts, but if you have the type of business that tracks jobs or properties or projects, your filing cabinet is going to go out this way. It's going to expand horizontally. So you're going to have a filing cabinet for each of those individual jobs, projects, or income streams. So it's a little bit more complicated, right? And so how do you get that information in your accounting system? Well, it depends on what software you're using, honestly. And so the big thing is, how are you going to get it set up? How are you going to track all of these individual income streams? So a lot of times we set them up as customers or sub-customers. Sometimes you'll see the terminology specifically as jobs. Other times we see projects. We also see classes, locations, tags. They're similar, we'll say, but it's all just how we are going to get the accounting records set up, and then we get those individual transactions posted in the right places. So I'm a visual person, and I like to think of them as buckets. So that's usually what I say here is, where are we going to put these transactions in these individual buckets? Now, how you get it organized, again, it's going to depend on your software, your workflows, even your own business, but we want to get them organized in some way. So yes, you've got to get it set up, and then we start posting those in these individual places. But that's the way you think of it. If you've got multiple, if you've got multiple properties or projects or jobs, they'll be labeled and named something separately. And you just go through and you organize them and get them posted in your system. Now, after you've got things set up and organized and posted, and everything's going to its right bucket, its right class or customer or location, or however you've got it set up, once everything's in there and it's in the right place, then you can finally start generating some really meaningful reports. And they're going to answer that question, are you making money on this project? Are you making money on this property? Should you do it again? Is this a good idea? So that's really where we want to get to. Now, this project or job or property profitability report, it is isolated. So it's kind of like an income statement or a profit loss statement that you're very likely familiar with. It's kind of like that, but it's just isolated for that one project or that one property. So it will show you income minus expenses for everything that is directly traced to that one project, that one job, or that one property. So it's very, very useful. So here we've got a quick example where we're going to say we've got like a construction company here, and they're doing a kitchen remodel project. So say these are fairly new for them. They've correctly bucketed and correctly posted everything for this one job. So all of the income that they've billed so far, their construction revenue for this remodel is in the right place, and they have all their costs. So when they do all of that, it's up to date. They can run this report and say, where are we? If it's in the middle of the project, they can see if they need to go ahead and do a progress bill for the revenue. They can monitor their costs, and most importantly, they can see where they stand. Are they in that net profit, and is that a healthy net profit? So for this kitchen remodel, we've got some construction revenue that starts out of about $28,000, and then we have cost of goods sold. And these are going to be our directly traced materials and our labor for this current job, which is about $19,000. So this project profitability for this kitchen remodel is sitting at about $9,000 of profit. Well, it sounds good. Maybe, right? We got to look at this a little bit more. Is $9,000 of net profit good? Maybe. So we've got some more questions here. One thing we can say for certainty is that if everything is in the right place and it's organized and we can rely on this report, which is super important, we know that at least our income is higher than our net expenses traced for this project. So right now we know we're doing okay. We're not overspending based on what we're bringing in profit. So that's one thing for sure that we can see from this project profitability report. But that leads us into these other, in some ways more important, advisory type questions where we are looking at that $9,000 of profit and we're thinking, is it good? Is it good enough? Should I do more of these projects in the future? Should I change it a little bit? Do I need to go in and think about my materials that I'm using? Hopefully I'm even earlier looking at some budgets and some things of thinking, how is this project going to go down? How am I going to execute it and do it? And what's my net profit going to be estimated at the end? So lots of really, really important advisory level questions where if we can rely on this report to begin with, we've got everything posted and put in the right bucket, then we can look at this and really start running our business in a more profitable way with a lot of intentionality with our projects and how we're going to pursue those in the future too. Now, I will also mention here that profit, of course, is not the same as cash, right? It's not the same as your cash flow. So you also want to use this report along with others and think through how you're really managing this whole project as a whole. So cash flow is super important. Obviously, we've got to think about if we've got contractors or if these are big amounts, maybe we're waiting, we do progress billing, or maybe you don't receive any revenue until the very end. Like if you sell a house, if it's a big construction project or even a house flip, sometimes you're waiting a really long time before you sell and figure out that net profit at the end. So when you've got those bigger, I'll say, swings and you're waiting on cash, it makes this advisory even more important. So you've got to make sure, of course, you've got things set up correctly and you can rely on these reports. Everything's posted. You don't have pending transactions because this report wouldn't be meaningful, would it? So all of that's really important that you get all of this up to date in your books in real time. And then you can start thinking through these other important questions as well. So all of this works together to help you run your business more efficiently and also think about your future projects that you're going to pursue when you finish this one. But this profitability report, it is super, super important. It's not just an unfun financial exercise. It's actually really important for how you manage your business and how you protect your returns. You strengthen your position and you really start kind of leading with intention, both for the current project and all of your future work as well. And I'll also say this profitability report, it's really just one big piece to this whole puzzle, right? So it is paired best when you start looking at your budgets, which hopefully you already set or you're refining, right, for your future projects and your future jobs. Look at those budgets and then also really, really think about your cash flow. especially if it's, kind of a seasonal or you're waiting a long time before you receive that cash if they're larger projects, or it's a project related to real estate, which is frequently held in a fixed asset for a long time. So cash is also a really, really important part here as well. And cash, right, could also need to be reserved for taxes. Yay, right? So if you have a healthy net profit showing up on that profitability report, yeah, there's a really good chance it's going to trigger some tax too. So what does that look like? How's that going to flow over to likely your personal return? Those are all really, really good advisory questions that you should be talking with your advisors with early on. Now, reading this report, it takes practice. Ultimately, it's going to be, how are you set up from the beginning? Is everything set up clearly in your books? You got a good foundation? Are you posting everything to those buckets, which is also really important? Some healthy rhythms with getting things posted. All of that is going to lead to a more meaningful report that you can really, really use. But if you are real estate, if you're construction, even if you do creative projects, things like that, this report is going to be very, very important. And it's really important for you to learn how to understand it, read it. It takes guesswork out of your projects, and it's really going to shape how your business grows and scales beyond that. So it's a big part of your financial management for the success of your business. But project profitability or even property management in your accounting, these reports only help you make smarter decisions when they're first set up correctly and you've got the right advisor helping you organize things, spot risks, and truly understand your margins and your opportunities.